reading skills and writing skills. Um, so I'll be taking today the reading skills. I hope I'm audible to you all, or should I speak louder?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what do you understand by reading, or why do you read? Anyone? What do you understand by reading? Anything, whatever comes to your mind. What do you think reading is? Yes, yes, good. Just to understand the text, to comprehend the text, good. And why do we read? What inspires us to read, or what makes us read? What are the reasons? Why do you read?
Ma'am, to improve our conversational skills.
Not to. Do you always read to improve your conversational skills?
To gain knowledge. To gain knowledge.
Yes, to gain knowledge. To gain knowledge. Yeah, we know that. Yeah, to gain knowledge. But what inspires you, right? To gain knowledge. What are the emotional aspects? Okay, so reading in the simplest term is the connection, the relationship between the reader and the text. If we are to speak in the simplest term, right? So we read when we are interested about a certain thing, we want to know about a certain thing, or we are confused about a certain thing, about a certain topic. You want to know that why is it saying like that, or why this thing happens. So you want to know something, you are confused regarding certain topics, so you start reading about it, right? To in order to clarify your doubt, or you are interested regarding, say, you are interested regarding cooking, you are interested regarding swimming, you start reading about them. Maybe computers, you start reading about them, right? And or for mere aesthetic purpose, to gain aesthetic pleasure, you like reading, that is why you are reading, right? So this is what motivates you to read, right? So reading is a very complex process, a complex cognitive process of decoding symbols to derive meaning. So the reader, what he does is he decodes symbols. Symbols are whatever present in the text. So those symbols are decoded and we derive meaning out of it. So that is what reading is about. And this complex process of decoding the meaning of symbols is shaped by your prior experience, prior knowledge, attitudes, and the language community, right? So your knowledge, your pre-existing knowledge is what helps you understand or draw inferences from the symbol which is provided in front of you, right? So you use your knowledge, your experience, your attitudes, your personal attitudes, and of course your language in order to decode these symbols. So for this, readers use a number of strategies, right? In order to decode them. We will come to that later. But first is that this is what reading is about. Now let's discuss about the process of reading. So how do you read? How do you approach a book? Can anyone tell? How do you approach a book? When you are reading, how do you approach it? What comes to your mind first when you decide that this text I'm going to read? What comes to your mind?
Ma'am, the meaning of the words.
Yes, no, yeah, that is the one thing, yeah, while you are reading that comes to your, but before that, what comes to your mind? If you are selecting a text, why do you select a text? Yes, yes, yes. That is one aspect of it. So there are certain there are certain steps to the process of reading. There are three basic steps, which is very basic in all types. The first thing is pre-reading. That is before you start reading. The second step is while reading or through reading, whatever you may call. That is when you are reading it. Actually, you have the text with you and you are reading it. And then comes post reading. Post reading is after you read the book. How do you feel about the text, right? So, beginning first, what happens is you begin with the emotional engagement with the text, right? This can come from curiosity, interest, confusion, or aesthetics, as I said. So this engagement continues into a set of pre-reading strategies. So there are certain pre-reading strategies. What they include is, first you have to know that what is the purpose of your reading. Why are you reading a text? Why do you want to read a text? Whether you want to know about a certain topic, or for your maybe homework, for your homework you are about to do your reading, or for aesthetic purposes, or for mere for the sake of it, you want to read it, you want to pass your examination. So you have to decide on the purpose why you are reading it, right? After deciding the purpose, then only you will be able to understand that how are you going to proceed with this reading. So you cannot read each and every book, like if it's a 400 pages book, you cannot read 400 pages of book in a single day. If you want the information that you want, if you can get it in a chapter or two, you will only need it in those two chapters, and you don't have to read 400 pages of book, right? So accordingly, you will decide on how you will read, how you will approach uh, the text. So after deciding the purpose of it, now you will begin to browse through the text, right? You have a text at hand. You will select a text according to your need. Now, how will you do that? Probably you will scan through it. You will skim through the pages and just overall, superficially, very superficially, you'll just see the headings, subheadings, the first lines of the paragraphs, and see whether it will be helpful for your understanding of the subject which you want to know or not, right? So that is what you will do. And then comes reading part, right? In reading, what you will do is, while you are reading, you will make predictions. Prediction, that as in that you will read a line and predict that what the author is trying to say, right? These predictions will help you engage with the text more, right? So when you are predicting, either it will be accepted or denied, but you will predict it. When it is accepted, well and good. If not, then you will make another prediction. So that is one thing that happens while reading, and you will summarize in order to understand, comprehend. As one of you said that it is important. Reading is about comprehension. So, in order to comprehend, you need to internally summarize whatever you are reading, right? You need to summarize it so that you can relate the ideas that is going on in the text and able to comprehend it properly. So after reading, there comes post-reading. Post-reading involves is that you need to self-monitor in this post-reading. That is whether you have understood the text properly or not, or there are certain gaps remaining in between, whether there are certain ideas which you do not understand, you want to understand. So what you do is you reread them. You reread the areas where you think there remains a gap, where you cannot understand the ideas, right? And try to clarify them. And at the end of every text, after you have read the text, you summarize that again. Maybe create a visual chart, right? What you knew, what you want to know, and what you have learned from it, right? So create a visual chart that will help you to understand the text properly, and that will help you to monitor yourself, that whether you have understood the text properly or not. That will also help you to gauge the gaps that has happened. Gaps means the understand the confusion that has probably occurred about a certain idea. So after reading, summarizing helps to comprehend the text deeply, right? So this is the rough idea about the process of reading. And this process of reading, it involves certain thinking strategies, right? Just a second. So there can be 5 thinking strategies for a good reader. First is to predict. So predict, as I said, it is to make educated guess. So good readers, what they do, they predict about the thoughts, events, outcomes, and conclusion. When they are reading, they automatically think that, oh, probably the next step the author is going to say probably this. Say, as in the idea he's trying to portray is this, and it is leading to so and so idea, right? So you start predicting it. And if it is validated, as I said, good. If not, then you keep on predicting. So it's a process. Prediction occurs throughout the reading process. You need to predict throughout the reading process, right? This constant process helps you to become involved with the author's thinking and help you learn. So this prediction, what it helps is you are involved with the process of with the thinking of the author, right? So you are also thinking, you are trying to think like the author, that probably this author is trying to say this. So this improves your critical thinking as well, right? So prediction is important, which means making educated guesses. Then the second thinking strategy is picture. Form a picture. So when you are reading, yeah. So when you are reading, what happens is the words and the ideas on the page triggers certain mental images, right? That directly may relate to the material or indirectly may relate to the material, right? Suppose you are reading something about, suppose mango, then automatically the image will occur in your mind, right? So the process of making maybe ketchup, so you will just imagine that in your mind. The process, only when you are reading it, the images will automatically occur in your mind. So after that, so it becomes like a movie in your head, right? And they increase your understanding of what you read. So this helps in understanding the text better. It will increase your understanding once you start relating whatever you are reading, and the images, you try to relate it with the images in your head. Then it becomes like a movie, that the process, the entire process of making a ketchup, that is played in your head, and it becomes like a movie, right? So you understand in that way better, and it retains longer than usual because it creates an interest in you, right? And the third is to draw comparisons. Can anyone tell me what drawing comparison may mean? So drawing comparison is like you are reading a sentence or a word of a particular situation. What it will do, it will relate it will automatically relate to the experiences that you have had, maybe relating to the whatever you are reading, or probably you have read it somewhere in the text, or seen somewhere on television, or heard somewhere in the radio. So this will automatically, whatever you are reading, you will start relating with your experiences and whatever you have read, right? So such related experiences help you digest the new material. So it helps you, of course, comprehending the text better. The next thing is that monitoring, right? So self-monitoring, as I said, that while you are reading the text, you need to constantly monitor yourself, whether you are understanding the text properly or not. By asking questions, rather, you will uh, like by asking yourself questions, you will avoid having gaps in your understanding, right? So you need to monitor your ongoing comprehension to test your understanding of the material. So how can you do that? You can keep an internal summary or synthesis, the total understanding of the information as it is presented and how it relates to the overall message, right? So you will, as you are reading, you will summarize that in your head, and how that those ideas which you are reading, they relate to the overall message of the text, whatever the author is trying to say, how it relates to that you'll do, right? And as you are going on reading, as you are reading it, as you are gathering new informations, your summary keeps building up. Okay, so your summary will build up with each new detail, and as long as the message is consistent, you will continue to form ideas. So as long as the author is consistent with delivering his message, you will continue forming your ideas, right? If certain information seems confusing to you or erroneous to you while you are reading, you might find a certain information that is very confusing. You are unable to understand it. Probably the author has failed to make you understand, or probably it's your understanding. Probably you are unfamiliar with a certain word or a certain idea. So what you'll do, you'll try to fix it then and there. You won't keep on reading, right? When you are reading and you are confused regarding certain word and certain ideas, you will try and find solution for it. You won't move on. That is the sign. If you move on, that is the sign of a bad reader. Okay, a good reader always tries to find a solution when he encounters a problem, right? So you must monitor and supervise your own comprehension. And the next strategy of thinking regarding reading comes that correct gaps in your understanding. So it is related to the self-monitoring part, which is that if there are certain gaps in your understanding, if you, after reading, you don't know that these ideas are not clear to me, what you'll do, you will try and find a solution for it. Suppose a sentence is conveying certain idea, but you are unable to grasp that idea. What you'll do is you will reread the preceding sentences, reread the area which is confusing, and read it few following sentences, and probably you will be able to understand what the author is trying to convey, right? Similarly, for a word, if there is an unknown word present to you, so what you will do is you will read further, and you will read it, and then you will probably derive the definition from it, right? So these are the 5 thinking strategies regarding reading. So And there are few tips regarding improving comprehension. Comprehension means your general understanding of anything, right? So how can you improve your comprehension? Just a second, I'll just share the file with you. So can you see it, whatever I'm presenting to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Visible. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So these are few points regarding improving comprehension. So reading comprehension requires motivation, mental frameworks for holding ideas, right? Concentration and good study techniques. So you need to be motivated in order to comprehend better. You should have a better mental frameworks. You should have a better knowledge of better framework of understanding in order to hold ideas. And you need to concentrate and have good study techniques, right? Develop a broad background. What do you understand by developing a broad background? Anyone? It's written over there. So what do you understand by the point? I think you can see the presentation, right? You can read it, right? Acha. So what do you understand by developing a broader background? What do you understand by that? Yes, that is one else. It's written. You can just you just have to say it in your own words. Not only vocabulary, vocabulary. It's about general idea about what is happening around, about increasing your knowledge about things. By reading newspapers, you come to know about the day-to-day life. You come to know about, of course, your language gets improved. Regular reading practice help you understand things better, right? Read things in a more speedy manner, right? So developing a background means to regularly update yourself with new knowledges, with books, with newspapers, with magazines, right? Whatever events that is happening around the world, right? So that is what we mean by developing a broader background. Now, next, they are saying that knowing the structure of paragraphs. So it is said that a good writer generally have a beginning, a middle, and an end. There is a chronology to whatever he is saying, he is writing. There is a logical sequence that is happening, which helps you understand the text better, and which makes you understand that the author knows his subject well, and he can portray his ideas well, right? So often when you read the first sentence of a paragraph, you can guess the ideas in that paragraph, right, or the text. So that is one thing you need to yeah, you need to be able to read, divide these paragraphs, you need to be able to know that which paragraphs contains what ideas are, what structure does the author is trying to create, right? Where is the beginning, where is the middle, where is the end, right? So you need to know that. And also look for transitional words, phrases, or paragraphs that change the topic. So look for the transitional words and phrases which are not directly related to the topic. It is kind of going off track the topic, right? The next is identifying the type of reasoning. So there are certain types of reasonings which the author may apply in his writing. So they can use effect reasoning, hypothesis, model building, induction or deduction, system thinking, etc. Right? So what do you understand by effect reasoning? Are you familiar with any of these reasoning types? Okay, so effect reasoning is cause and effect. Have you heard about cause and effect?
Yes, ma'am.
What is that?
No, ma'am.
So cause and effect, when you try to discuss or explain a certain event, and the event is always the effect of certain cause, that another event has caused the resulting event, right? So that we call as cause and effect reasoning, where there is a relationship between the event, where one event is caused by another event, right? So that is what we call cause and effect reasoning. And hypothesis, we all know that a writer makes certain assumptions about a certain topic, which he plans on exploring further, right? And model building is probably related to AI. And induction or deduction reasoning is where a certain topic, a certain generalized idea, deduction means where a generalized idea, when you have a generalized idea, and from that you are reaching to an individual conclusion, right? Suppose say we say that the all apples are bad, therefore this apple is bad. That is a deduction reasoning, right? And induction reasoning is the opposite of deduction reasoning, where we come to the conclusion, generalized conclusion from individual facts. This apple is bad, so every apple will be bad, right? So that is induction and deduction reasoning. And system thinking means when suppose you have a car, and if you uh, deconstruct the car and take away all the parts, nothing remains in the car. So you will always see that the car's parts, how it is helping in the regulation of the car, right? You will not individually look at individual parts, right? They individually, they do not have any much significance, but in relation to each other they might have this significance. Okay, people are still joining. What you'll do is, please join the class in time. Okay, please don't be so don't delay so much. It disturbs the class a bit, right? So moving on. Next is anticipate and predict. So really smart readers try to anticipate the author and predict future ideas and questions. So as I said, prediction, that you while you are reading, you always start predicting the ideas, what the author is trying to say, and anticipate what the conclusion will be. So you will keep on doing that in your reading process. Next is look for the methods of organization. So this is another aspect to it, that you will see that whether the material is are organized chronologically, serially, logically, functionally, spatially, or hierarchically, right? So with how he has organized the material, this will help you to find the things which you want to find better, right? If suppose a dictionary, it is organized alphabetically, you know that this is organized alphabetically, now you will be able to find the meaning of the word easily, right? So this is how it will help uh, if you look for the method of organization. Similarly, when you see that the author has organized his ideas, his writing logically, then you will understand the text better. You will understand the logic behind it, right? So this is how you should look for the methods of organization. Then there is create motivation and interest. So of course, whatever topic you want to know, you can create motivation and interest in you by discussing it with others, right? So if you start discussing it with others, it will help you create certain interest when you discuss with your peer or your family members. So conversation will help you be more curious about the subject, because you start having new ideas from your fellow colleagues, or maybe your friends, or from your family. Then a new perspective is formed, and you become more curious, and you want to know more things about that, right? And pay attention to supporting cues. While you are reading, pay attention to the pictures used by the author, right? The subtitles, the footnotes that are used by the author. All these will help you understand the text better. These are the strategies which will help you understand the text better, right? So next, I'm going to talk about certain types of reading style. So one of the type is skimming, and one of the types is scanning. So what do you understand by skimming? What is the literal meaning of the term skim? Anyone? What do you understand by the word skimming? Okay, so suppose you are boiling a milk, right? There is a layer of that layer of the cream on top. So what you do is you skim out the cream, for whatever purpose you need it, probably to make butter or ghee, right? So that is skimming. So what you do is, in skimming, in reading, what you do is you have been provided with a text, and you have no time to go through it properly. You need to have an overall idea about the text, right? So what you do is you very superficially go through the text, read the headings, subheadings, the paragraph, the first line of the paragraphs, the conclusion, in order to understand, to have a rough idea of what the text is about. So this will help you further in the reading process, because while you will be reading, you will know that this is the idea, probably what the author is going to say. You will be able to predict, and that will help you in comprehension. So that is what we understand by skimming. Skimming is something when you are going through the text very superficially and just having a rough idea of the text, right? And then there is scanning. So Scanning is something which is also going through the text roughly, but you have a certain information in your mind that you need to find this information. So, keeping that information in mind, you scan through the text in order to have those information, right? So, you have a certain information and you need to find through the text through scanning, right? So, what is the difference between scheming and scanning? Can anyone tell me what is the difference between scheming and scanning? Anyone? So scheming is basically to have to roughly going through the text for having a general idea of the text, and scanning is when you have a particular information in your mind and you want to find that information in the text, right? The examples of scanning involves fill in the blanks. When you are giving certain fill in the blanks to fill up, you what you do is you read the sentence and you search through the text, find you try to find those sentences and then you fill up the text, right? So that is what we call what is the difference between skimming and scanning. And there is another thing which is intensive reading and style of reading, extensive reading. So these two are the style of reading which is very helpful in understanding uh, which depends upon your the purpose of your reading, right? So extensive reading means when you want to read for the pleasure of it, right? You want to for your aesthetic pleasure, or probably because you like having knowledge about certain things. Just a second. Yeah. So extensive reading is when you have you want to have the knowledge about a certain subject, and intensive reading means when you want to really want to understand the text very properly to the minutiae of detail, right? Intensive reading generally involves small articles because it takes great mental effort, right? So when you are reading it, you have to understand every. Yes, Ziaful Mustafa, do you want to say something? Do you want to say something? You raised a hand.
मैम कंटिन्यू कीजिए.
अच्छा ठीक है. तो I was saying that intensive reading is when you read the text and you want to know each and every detail that is present in the text, right? So when you are reading a text, every word should be known to you. As in, when you are reading it, if certain word is unknown, you cannot skip it. You have to know the word. Probably search in the dictionary. So every minute detail in the text needs to be known. That is what intensive reading is about. Since it's a very intense process where you have to be fully dedicated mentally and dedicate your energy fully, you should always take short texts, short articles, because having larger articles will bore you easily. So suppose there is a novel and you want to read it. Suppose there is a yeah, novel, you want to read it. You cannot intensively read each and every word. You are enjoying the process. You are enjoying the process of reading the story. So that is what extensive reading is about. When you read for the pleasure of knowing, right? So that is that. Today I'll just I'll just finish the class today itself, and we'll continue in the next class. Okay? Okay. And I'll share with you the notes. Okay? I'll provide you with the wheels in the WhatsApp group only. Okay. Thank you.
Ma'am,
Bye.
ma'am,
Yeah.